Yeah. Can you guys see my screen? Please confirm if you can see my screen so that we'll start. Okay. So in today's class, we're going to talk about first of all, I'm going to make a directory. So let me set it to my desktop. Yeah. Okay. So what about now? Can you see it? Can you see it clear? Okay. So let me open this in my terminal, in my VS Code, sorry. It's -1. Okay, FDM units mistake of the spelling. Okay. Good. So basically what I just did is that I created my folder which is Express class. So I initialized it using npm init. So what this does is that it created this npm package for me here for us to start with. So right in my VS Code, what I'm going to do is to open up the terminal here. So at this place here now, what I'm going to do is that I'll install Express. Now, first of all, let's talk about Express. What exactly is Express? So Express is a framework, is a node framework you use in building your backend application. So with Express, basically you can do some routings on your application. So you can be able to configure your application and route it all at the same time. So we'll have other frameworks that you can use in Node, but in this tutorial, we're just going to focus on the Express. So what it does is that it provides you with a robust set of features for your web and mobile development. So you know that this is just a back-end application. You can, of course, after building your application, you can set it up with either web or mobile app. So let's just, without wasting much of our time, so let's just install Express. So to install Express, all you just need to do is either you can use a npm package or yarn. So but for me, what I'm using is a npm. So basically what I'm going to do is when I come to the terminal here, I'll type npm install Express. So dash that, put the flag dash dash save. Although this dash dash save is not compulsory if you are using a node version of 5.0 upward, so it's optional. So once you type this now, all you need to do is just click on enter. So it will install Express for you in this particular application. So let's just wait for it to start. Okay. So now we have our node installed. So I'm going to create a file which is going to be our index.js file. So at this index.js file, that's where most of we're going to run our applications. Okay. So let's get started with things. So what we are going to do here now is to require your Express in this file here. So in here in our index file, so we're going to require our Express. So it's a const Express equals to require Express. So this is just like basically setting it up. So this our application equals to Express. So we declare our port. So of course this port is where you are going to access the app. So for me, I'm using port 3000. So but you can choose any port of your choice, but I decided to use 3000 for the port. So here we'll have our app.get. So this is going to be our route. So the route here. So we're gonna have, let's see, our request response. So here I'm going to have a res.n. Our application is working. So basically have something like this. So having our app here now, the next thing we're going to do is to listen to the bot. We set our app to listen to the bot. So we'll have the listing. So to listen to the bot, we've declared up. So have also log. Started at, so I'm supposed to use a template string. So I'll use a template string here. So let me change this to a template string, sorry. So here to run this here, we'll run it, just call our node app. Okay, sorry, is that index. Yes. then we'll have to set our scripts. So starts. So set up our scripts. So when we call on starts, we'll just tell it to run our index.js. Our index file. So here, all I'm going to do is just to call npm start up our application for us. Okay. Save all the problems in the medium start to mark. Did I make mistake on the? Okay. I think I figured it out. I didn't save this. You have to save your file. So if you don't save your file, you're going to be getting an error. So it happened because I didn't save my file. So you see now that the application is running. It has started the index file for us. So let me go back to my browser and see. So let me navigate to the port localhost 3000. Sorry. So the app has actually started. So you can see it here from the console. Say application started. My bad. These are spelled started. So this actually started at ports. So the port number, which is port 3000, which we gave it here. Here is where we declared our port. So what you do is that at every instance, at every change you make, you definitely have to save your file and you run this node index.js. So let's go back to the browser and see. Okay, you see that the browser has already refreshed itself. So we'll have this now. Application is working, which means that we've successfully set up our Express. So at this point now, you can decide to proceed further with your application. So the next thing is just for you to, of course, basically this here where you set up your route for your get, your HTTP methods, which is your get, your boost, your batch, and the rest of them. So let me take you through routing. So this is, of course, this is routing. So this is where your routing is defined. So let's talk a little about routing and what it's all about. So when you talk about routing refers to determining how an application responds to a client request to a particular endpoint or URL. So now, if you are basically trying to define in the route, okay, what will the user get in response? So now this is a get. This will actually define the base route here using this / here. So this / declares our base route, this happens when the user just loading our page. Let's say we'll have the home page. So once the user loads in or logs in, this is the particular thing the person is going to see. So this is the response. So of course, if we are declaring a route, maybe for anything, let's say we want to declare a route to get the names of users, or maybe the names of user in the system. So of course, it's a get request. So at the route here, this is where we define, or we say, okay, this is what the user is supposed to get. So using this res.send. So with this res.send, you are actually sending a response. So this is the response you are sending to the user. So in our own case here, I've said, okay, once the user hits these routes now, that which is once the user enters this our endpoint here, which is localhost 3000. So I said that Express will respond with this particular response using res.send. So okay, that being said, let's look at other function. Okay, so okay, let me create another route for you. So we have app, just the same get request. So slash welcome. So let me just show you something. Request response. So with here now, we can say, okay, we can decide to welcome the person. We say, okay, at this place we say res.send and say, okay, let's say, welcome to top universe. Backend track logs. So basically, what will happen is you have to save this. So now there is, okay, let me show you something. So here now we've actually created another different route, but I just want you to understand something. So obviously we are supposed to get a response when we go to our base route / welcome. Let's spell that correctly. So you see this now, it says can't get / welcome. So now let's try to debug and see. So we'll have our route here correct, which is this. But the issue is, the reason we are getting this is because we've not started this. So save this. Let's refresh again and see. So of course, when you do this, all you need to do is that you need to stop the application by clicking on Ctrl C. Then you run the application again, because obviously you made a change to it. So when you run the application again, the application has started. So you can go back to this place now and start your application. So you see that we'll get a response. So one way to stop this is using a node mon. Another way to make sure that you don't have to stop your application and run it again is to use a node mon. So what we're going to do is that we're going to stop the application and install node mon. So you can choose to install your node mon globally, or you can choose to install it just for this specific project they are working on now. So to install node mon, we now have to run the command npm install install node mon. So you can just click on this. So it will install node mon for you. So at first, when I encountered NodeMon, I really don't know the full meaning. But what this means is a node monitor. So what it will do is that it will monitor your node application and see if there's any change on it. Once there's a change, it will refresh it will rebuild your application for you. So you don't need to go back and stop the application from running and run it again. So we are going to see how this work just in a moment. Okay, the node mon has actually installed. We have that installed already. So what we are going to do is at this particular point now is just for us to configure it at our script. So you go back to your JSON, your package.json file. So at this place where we declare the script for starting the application. So all we're going to do is just to add node mon here. So we'll call our node mon. So what I'm saying is that at any particular point we'll save this application, and node mon should run the index file. So let's start our application and see. So we'll run npm start. Let's see. Okay. So basically it's supposed to start the application, but I think my terminal is having a little issue. Let me see. My terminal is having a little issue. So let me confirm if it actually started the code for us. Okay, you see that it didn't start it. So I think I need to fix this, but not now. So if you look at this place now, you see that I have a little challenge with the terminal. So the terminal is not running the node. But basically on your own end, once you run this now, it will start the application for you. So what it will do is that once there's any change on the application, you don't need to stop it and run it, and you don't need to restart the application again. So for the sake of time, because trying to fix this now will eat into our time. So I'll fix this probably in the next class. We won't be having these issues again. So what I'll be doing is that I'll keep stopping and restarting the application just for this particular class, but subsequently it's not going to happen again. So now we look at this package.json. So let me try to explain it again, run you through what it actually means or what you see there. So now this we have the name of our application, which is what I created earlier, which is express underscore class. This is the version. So here you can add any description you can just give a description of what the application does entirely. So this is where you configure your script. Like if you remember before now, the first start, I forgot to configure the script for starting the application. So I didn't tell Node, okay, this is what you are supposed to do at the start of the application. So I was having an error then. So what you basically do, you come to this script. So this way you just put in any other script you just want. You can use a node test. Maybe if you are running migration using an ORM, you can configure it here, do everything, so that once you run that particular command, you set the file that is going to run for you. So here also you see the dependencies. These are the packages that we are going to install. So what happens is that once you clone a repository, and you try to run it locally in your own system, when you run a npm install, so it's going to install all these dependency for you. So if you are observant at the early stage when I created this application first, the dependency, there was nothing in the dependency, not until I added the express and the nodemon using the npm install. So now, for you to run this application, once you clone it, you need to install these particular dependencies. And how you do that is to run npm install. So if you clone any node application, before it will actually run on your end, you have to use this. You have to install the dependencies. So let's go back and see if we've actually gotten what we're supposed to get. Okay, yeah. So we'll see we've gotten welcome to top universe backend track. So if we navigate back to the base URL, so going back to the base URL, you see that we get application is working fine. So going back here again, localhost. So when we go back to the welcome route, we'll get a different response. So let's go back to this again. So basically, we've talked about the routing. So let me also say something in respect to in response to the methods we are going to be having. So now your HTTP method will have the get, will have the post, will have a put, and we'll have a patch. We'll have patch, we'll have a delete, we'll have a delete, and some of that. But basically, let me just let's look at these ones in this particular class here. So now, when do you use the get, the post, the put, the patch, and the delete methods? So now, obviously, for get, you use this when you want to perform a get request. What get request does is that it fetches something for you from the database or from the server. So it has to return a response to you. So we'll have two get requests here, and we'll see that it actually returned something for us. It actually returns something. So again, for the post method, if you want to work with the post method, post help us to actually send something to the server. So for instance, now you have application you are developing, you want to collect some data from the user. Maybe you want them to register for a particular course. So what you do is that you use a post request to get the user data that you desire. So put also is used to change something. Okay, so let's try to see how these things work. So I'm going to make a post request here. So we'll have app.post. So we'll have a register. So let's try to register for something. Maybe request response. So basically here we'll have our, so in this request now we are going to have the request will have a body. So now let me just console log the request body. So we'll see what this request is made of. So here let me just console log it. Console log request.body. I just want you to see. Let's send push request. Push request receive. So let's go. So for me to test this application here now, I'm going to use my Postman. So let me start my Postman. So I don't know if you have a Postman installed. So, but if you don't have a Postman installed, you can get it. You can search for it, Postman. Download the Postman. So this is the URL here. So let me see. Let me drop it on the charts. Okay. So Mab has actually done that for me. So what you do is just for you to install the Postman. So let me go back. So my Postman is up and running. Okay. So let me create. Okay, let me use this. So what you're going to do is you type. So we'll have localhost 3000 then /register. So in your Postman here, we'll have basic things that you can set. These are the parameters, this is authorization, these are headers, this body, we'll have the request script, test, and setting. So what we need for this post request, we'll have to change this from a get to a post request. So these are the HTTP methods that are available that you can do. But in this particular HTTP request, what we are going to do is a post request. So with this now, majorly a post request has a body, but this thing get doesn't have a body. So here now you choose what kind of this thing body your text is going to, your request is going to have. If it doesn't have a body, you can select this is a form data, which is when you want to send in images and other things. So here I have to click on the raw. So in this raw, we'll take in you click here either the text, so you select JSON. So we want to the body to have a JSON body. So here now we're going to pass in our response body. So here we'll have a name, we'll have the name field, so since I'm registering for a course, track. So we'll have here backend track. So let's say I want to register for a particular track for the top skill program. So I have my name. Okay, let me just add another field, which is email. So this is email. Have a go at top universe. Universe.org. So it's already. So here now, so we've actually gotten the request body. So I've done this particular change here now. So I need to save my file. So but because the little challenge I have that NodeMon is not working on my system, So I need to stop this application now by clicking on Control C. So it stops the application, then I restart it again. So if I don't do this, it means I'll be getting a 404 get error in my postman. So here right now I can send in my request. So once I send the request here, I'll get a response. How's the response? See, okay, yeah. So I got an error. The reason I got this error is because of course. There's something we call the course. I didn't implement it here. Course. So now, what course does is that is a cross origin. So it helps your application. It helps your application to be accessed using from other environment. So let me try to set up course here. So without me setting this up, I can't access this application from Postman. So, but because of the body, because of that request, the request body I need to pass in, so I need to use a Postman. But of course, if you go from this place now, if you click /register, and get register. So why am I getting this?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, the browser. You can't do
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you can only do get requests from the browser, except if you are doing it with JavaScript.
Yeah. So that's why I want to use this thing. So let me quickly set up the course for them. So to set up your course, what you need to do, so I need to stop this application. So you install your course. So what you do is npm install course. So it's installing. So basically, course is just like a middleware that you can use for your application. So we have so many ways that you can use it. Okay, yeah, it has finished installing. So what I'll do now is before this request that I'm putting in here, what you do is that you put you set your middleware app.use. So you tell it to use course. Making a mistake. Let me go on. So before you call a course, you need to require your course here. So const course equals to require your course here for this to run. So I think yeah, that's just it. So let's save and run the application again. Let's see if it's been resolved. So let me send my request again and see. Okay, yet to be resolved. So coming. Let me trace where issue is coming from.
Hello, Francis.
Okay. Someone, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you go back to Postman?
You said?
Can you go back to Postman?
Okay. I'm on Postman now.
Okay. Um, I think you have HTTPS. Can you see that? Can you take off the S?
Okay, yeah. Uh, that's my mistake. That's my bad. That's what happened when you do copy and paste and you didn't edit very well. I actually used a different a different routes that I was using before. Okay, so you see that it's working. So now let's go back to our app. Okay. So we actually wanted to log in our request body. So we are getting undefined here. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's see if the request actually has a body. So maybe stop this and then run it again. So let's go back here, make a request. Okay, so looking at this place now, you see what our request contains. So these are basically what the request contains. So I'm coming. I just want to check on something here. Something I want to show you guys. So it contains a whole lot of information. So this is the header, the pipeline, the following. So these are basic information from the requests. So I come in. So okay. So we've seen that the post request works. So, but let's see how we can be able to extract information from the request body.
There's a noise. There's a noise coming from the background. I don't know if you can fix that. I'm guessing.
That's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
That's coming from
I
my
don't know.
den. It's coming from my den.
Oh, okay, okay. Apologies. Sorry.
Yeah, it's coming from my den.
So I think that line was correct. There was something you added at the top that you removed. I noticed that you removed it, and I think that's where the problem is coming from. App.use express the gist.
App.use course. Yeah, this is it.
Express the gist.
Okay. App.use express. Use. Okay. So let me see. Let me see it again. So let's make our request again and see. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, what happened is I forgot to add this middleware here, which is app.useexpress.json. So without this now, we are passing the request body here, this request body now, we are passing it as a JSON file. So we didn't tell the node application, or rather our express now, that it should convert those things. It should be able to respond with this. It should handle the JSON file that is coming in. So if you didn't use this app.json, obviously it cannot return a JSON response to you, and this app.use calls. So what calls does is that it allow you to access your application from external this thing, client. So like when I try to access this application now using my Postman, uh, I was unable to do that just because this cross origin script is not being used. So these two things are very, very important. So we've seen, so if for instance you are trying to register somebody, so from this place now you can destructure and get your and get what you need. So you can do something like const restructure this now. So and when you are restructuring, you use these particular names here. So we know we have name, we have email, then we have track. So we are getting these things now from the request dot body. So here now we can console these things individually. Console.log console.log let's say email. Let's get only the email here. So we'll save this now. So I need to stop this and then start it again. So we'll go back to the request. We'll make it again. So of course you see now I got the email, which is okay. The reason I got this is because I didn't comment this one out here. I still got the same request body, but for the destructuring which I did here. So what the structuring did is that from here now it takes these things and consoles them individually. Let's take for instance now, if only what I need is just the email from the response body. So what I will just do is to use the structuring and take these ones off, these guys off. Maybe I'll take the name field, I take it off, and also the track, I take it off. So if I run this application, it's going to just fetch or get only, it will just extract this email from the request body, and I can use this email anywhere in my application. Let's say maybe I'm saving it to database, so I'll just save this particular email to the database. I say, okay, this is the email of the person that registered, or probably this is the name of the person that registered. So that's how you get your you get the credentials or the parameters you need from the request body when you make a post request. Also for the put request too. Okay, so let me see, let me create something here. Okay, let me go down here. So let me say let students backend. So let's take for instance this company data we have here. This is a student. So if we want to modify these students now, we can use that's where we use our put request. So but put and patch they function similarly, but there's just a little difference between put and patch. You use this put or patch to update your data, maybe the data you have in your database. So I'm just using this now as a data in the database that I need to modify. If you need to modify anything, you either use your put or the post, either the put or the patch. So the difference between the both of them is this: for the put request, put is a major update that, like, you want to update everything here. But if you are trying to update just a single field, you can use just the patch request. But most times, sometimes I try to use put. I use put for them, but it's the same. They function similarly, but it's more professional for you to use a patch if you want to do just minor change to the file. So let's see how the put request function. So we have a put. So we clear our route. Okay. So we see okay user slash okay, let's say that slash edit. So now I want to edit that. So we now have our request, response. We have our request and our response. So from here now, once we get get this, so let's the structure was going to come here. We'll have a name, we'll have a track. Want to get it from the request.body. Yeah. So from here now we can see we now set our students. We now see students dot name. Let's just change the name. Student dot name will now equal to name. Let me use new name. So I'll just make it new name and track. New track. So I'm just trying to separate it from what we already have. So this will now be new name. So I'm not setting it individually. Then we'll have the track will be equal to what new track. Yeah. So we'll give a response. Send students. Send students. Okay. So let's see if we can catch errors here. So let's see if we can catch errors, because definitely error is bound to happen in your application. So here now let's catch the error. So if these were the structuring, we have new name equal to empty, which is null, or new track, because so what we'll do is I will do a res send invalid parameter submitted by user. So we'll have something like this. So this is going to throw you an error. So let's return. So if you don't add a return statement here, it's going to throw an error. So we're going to move this young man here, move it out from that place, so we can put them here. So that what this does now is that once he received the request, it will check if the body has a username, it has a new name and a new track. So if one of them is not in the request body, it will send you a response. So let's just try it out. I think we are running out of time. So let me try it out. And so I think that will be fine. So what's the okay? Let me copy this out. Control T. Go to yeah. Okay. Let me edit proper this time. So what are we supposed to get from here? We have new name and a new track. So we want to have here now. So add a new name and here we have a new track. So when you are getting, let me just point this out. So when you are trying to destructure, you make sure that it is the name here. So because if it's not the name here, it's going to give you some errors. So let's try that out and see what we get. 404, which is not found. User slash edits. So let me see. Slash user slash edits. Okay, yeah. So I'm making a post request to it while the method is a put. So let's run it again. So you see, it returned this. So which is a student. So I said it should return a student, the new track and the new the name. So which is what it returned here. Who Francis and the track is a backend. So let's see. Let's change this to front end and confirm if this actually works correctly. Front end. So okay, you see that it's returning a front end. So of course it's working correctly. So let's try and see what happens if we are sending an empty stuff. So let's clear this and see if we are able to catch that particular error. Okay, so you see we've submitted the invalid parameter. Okay, but there's one thing, there's a problem with this. So there's something about request. Your status code is very, very important. So 200 means that the request was okay. So I'm returning an error message and still returning this 200, which is status okay. That's very, very wrong. So here I'm going to set this to res.status. Res.status should have a status of 400. Not it should have a status of 400. So I'm going to save this file, then stop the application and let's run it again. So we'll go back to our postman. So let's make the request again and see. Okay, so now you see at this place now we now have 400, which is a bad request. So I think Map just sent in a file. You can go through, sent a link now. You can go through for the request status code. So we'll have for 200 is okay, 201 created, and 400. So anything from 400 is a client side error. So I think 500 is a server side error. So if there's a crash on the server, it's going to respond with the status of 500. So okay, let's see. Okay, that's that. So you see that even despite the fact that I didn't add a 200 status code here, it automatically responded with the status code of 200. But you can choose to add it. It's something of choice. But for the errors, you are supposed to add it so that whoever is consuming your API will know the reason why he or she is getting a particular error. So I think for the delete, so we'll have a app.delete. So we'll have a slash ID. response. So yeah, in res send you deleted user with the ID of what's ID. So I'm going to change this to a template string. Let's change it to a template string. So of course, let's see delete. So what delete does is that, of course, you know what delete is. It takes something away from your database. So what I did here is just to get the ID of a user that I want to delete. So from within the body of manipulation, try to delete something from. Okay, let me just show. Okay, let me do this so that let's students equals to. So I have array of students. Let's say Francis. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So we have this. So this place here now. Let me try to do something. Students. Oh, okay. Let's see. Also, students. Okay. So let's try this out and see what we get. Let's try this out. So I'm going to stop the application. So go back again. So here I'm passing in just the ID. Let's say ID of 0. Okay, let's do 1. So it's going to be a delete. Okay, we got 500, which is internal server error. So let's see what's the reference ID is not defined. Okay, it's a reference ID. Okay, so here we need to do this const ID equals to request but rams. So we'll destructure this from the parameter. So I didn't do the destructuring. That was why I got that error. So we'll have this. So let's save the file. Stop the application. And run it again. So let's try it. Okay. See, it deleted user with ID of 1. So let's go here. Of course, why is it not giving us this? Okay, so basically this is how you run your delete method. So whatever you want to delete, we've gotten this here. So let me check. So So this your request, yeah, this. So the reason why the array was like that is because for the poor, I just to call poor, but I added the state to it. So yeah. So, so let me just take this off. So I think we're rounding up the class at this particular junction. So this is after 9 already, and the class is just supposed to be 1 hour. So I don't know if anybody has any question. If you have any question regarding what you just done, you can ask your question now on the chat. So ask your question so that I can answer you. Do anybody have a question? So I think stop sharing my screen. Do anybody have a question? Can you guys hear me in the first place? If you can hear me, please type on the channel. Adewale, Damilola, Mohammed, and Tolu. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So I said, do you have any question so far? Do you have any question based on what we've just done? Okay. Okay. Okay, no issues. So feel free if you. Okay, that's good. That's good. So feel free. Once you have any question, you can always drop it on the channel here. We're there for you. We'll answer your questions at all time. Who's Ifeanyi? Ifeanyi, we don't condone spamming here, so please don't post this again. Post this again, we're going to remove it from the site. So we're going to wrap it up here since there's no question. All right, Adewale, that's good. So guys, thanks for having you guys today. So we'll have the next class on Saturday. So bye for now.